Hello everyone, I'm Jack Fisher and welcome to my world. And ever since it was announced, I've been closely following the events unfolding in Ultimate Invasion. And now we're 2 issues in, we're at the halfway point. We've seen the return of the Maker, aka Evil Reed Richards. We've watched him venture into a new Marvel universe and forge it into his own perverse vision. And while it certainly has been compelling, this is no ordinary 4-issue miniseries from Marvel. For one, we already know the endgame. It's leading directly to the creation of an all-new, all-different Ultimate Universe. And for someone who was there for the rise, fall, denigration, derision, and destruction of the former Ultimate Universe, I am very excited about the possibilities. Because regardless of how it ended, the former Ultimate Universe gave the comic book world something it badly needed. It offered a new vision for a new Marvel Universe, giving us the characters we loved within a wholly unique world. One that stood out in so many ways from the mainline 616 comics, for better and for worse. And I think that's exactly what the world of comics needs once more. But before we can get to that point, we need to see the Maker's ultimate plan play out. And after the events of Ultimate Invasion number 2, it's not clear that even he knows how it's going to unfold. After making his way to this new Marvel Universe, we saw him tamper with major events. He stopped Peter Parker from becoming Spider-Man. He stopped the Fantastic Four from ever forming. He made sure Captain America stayed on ice, and thus the Avengers/Ultimates never formed. The Maker essentially created a world without heroes, a world bound by an order that he himself created. We even got a taste of that order, mostly through the eyes of Howard Stark, who never died in this universe or had a falling out with Obadiah Stane. He's still very much the genius billionaire playboy, a proud precursor to young Tony. But Howard was also there to see the cracks start to form in the Maker's vision. He watched as the Maker's futuristic domain, the city, got attacked by an army of superpowered beings resembling the old Ultimates. He also watched as that same attack took the life of his friend Obadiah. And in the aftermath, Howard confronted the Maker and saw firsthand how far he'll go to protect his vision. And Ultimate Invasion number 3 really builds on that aftermath. We first see Howard mourning the death of his friend. It clearly affects him on a personal level, but his remarks to young Tony are very telling. He basically says to his son, who is not an accomplished hero in this universe, that he should lay low. He should go somewhere distant, remote, and safe. But Iron Man or not, Tony knows something is up. He knows when his father isn't telling him the full truth. And he's right, as he often tends to be. Howard isn't telling him a lot, mostly because he himself just learned the distressing truth about the Maker's world that they're all living in. We then flash back a couple of days to Latveria, shortly after the attack that killed Obadiah. And there we actually learn more about these new iterations of familiar characters that showed up in the last issue, like Hulk, Illyana, Colossus, Viper, Sunfire, Omega Red, and plenty of others. However, it's important to note that these characters are not heroes within this universe. Instead, they all represent various regions, interests, kingdoms, and organizations. Officially, they carry themselves as world leaders, but technically, well, that's where Howard uncovers some troubling revelations. Because while trying to make sense of these attacks, he learns from these leaders that all the conflicts and issues throughout the world, the entire geopolitical structure on which it's built, it's all a farce. It's an elaborate act of kabuki theater meant to convey a certain perception to the global public. The current quote-unquote enemies of the world, be they a rogue state, a terrorist organization, or some nefarious cabal, they're all just playing a part. They're nothing more than a mechanism for rallying the public against. But it's not just for show. The Hulk actually puts it best. Focusing the citizens' eyes on external threats distracts them from internal failures. It's basically maintaining an illusion of peace through an illusion of war. It's a profound but disturbing revelation. It's also the kind of heady, high-concept structure through which Jonathan Hickman does his best work. But it's never framed as some elaborate conspiracy theories by those seeking and maintaining power. Emmanuel de Costa even points out that the Maker did numerous experiments before pursuing this order. And he determined that humanity as a whole just isn't capable of accepting peace in the long term. And remember, this isn't the Red Skull or Thanos making this conclusion. This is Reed Richards. Evil or not, he is one of the smartest men in the multiverse. If he concludes that humanity can't handle peace, then that carries a lot more weight. Even in a world that doesn't need superheroes, humanity still needs conflict to rally around. It's a somewhat cynical take on human nature, but one that's perfectly in keeping with the spirit of the former Ultimate Universe, as well as the twisted mentality of the Maker himself. Since he's the one who guided this world to its current state, he's responsible for how it all unfolds. But even with these disturbing revelations and the cold, calculated logic behind it, Howard still finds it deeply insidious, and understandably so. This world just cost him his best friend, and it's bound to put his son at risk too. But there's one other detail that further complicates the situation. Despite everything the Maker did to foster this unique Marvel universe, despite all his efforts to realize his vision for a perfect world, that's still not his ultimate goal. It's just the infrastructure he's using to support his real work. And what does that work entail? Well, that we don't know the full extent of yet. But we do know it involves the Immortus engine, the same universe-altering device the Maker created in the first issue. And after multiple attacks from future iterations of familiar heroes, he's no longer capable of fixing it. So he needs help, and he believes Howard Stark is the key. But on the last page, we also learn that he's not the only one. The Maker has also enlisted the help of someone else. He says he's Reed Richards, although we don't know if he's the Reed from this universe or some other universe. But, for some unknown reason, this Reed is wearing the mask of Dr. Frickin' Doom. Confused? Yeah, so am I. Intrigued? Definitely. Because anything Reed involves himself in, no matter the universe, it tends to involve Dr. Doom as well. And whenever those two clash, universes change. And in some cases, they're destroyed. That's what happened in Secret Wars, another story Jonathan Hickman wrote. So does this mean we're about to see it happen again? We don't yet know, and there's only one issue left, so we'll find out soon enough. But if all that weren't jarring enough, Ultimate Invasion number 3 came with an epilogue of sorts. Remember those attacks from the future in the previous issue? The one that ended up killing Obadiah Stane? Well, we now know a source. The one leading the attack against the Maker in this new universe is none other than Kang the Conqueror, but not a version we've seen before. This one actually resembles Iron Man, and in the background, we see that he is not particularly fond of the Maker or this world that he's disrupted, and he is poised to attack yet again. So the stage is now set. The Maker's new world is starting to unravel, and he can no longer fix it on his own. He needs help from Howard Stark and another version of Reed Richards. Something has to give. When powerful minds like this come together, the multiverse takes notice. There are some major cosmic level disruptions on the horizon, and whatever unfolds in the final issue, whatever universal clash leads to a new Ultimate Universe, I am so ready for it. Ultimate Invasion is already shaping up to be the kind of story that sets a new standard for building new worlds, and from the ashes of old worlds no less. It's poetic, but fitting, because the Maker may ultimately succeed in forging a new Marvel Universe, just not the one he envisioned. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me in my world. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, take care and stay safe.